My head is spinning. Oh, my head is spinning. It's time for a single best chart. Good morning, everyone. Bloomberg Surveillance. We're spinning. We're spinning, Vonnie. We're spinning.
This is to do with yesterday's news that Conagra is divesting the private brands, Royal Corp, and going back on its merger. Today's single best chart, all about spin-offs. The number returning to the average after a spike. We saw 87 in the final quarter of 2014. Remember that, Tom? It seemed like there was one every day. There must have been one every day. That dropped to 64 in the first quarter of this year, followed by just 51 in Q2. Now, not all have rewarded investors. The next big one, PayPal. PayPal begins trading separately from eBay later this year.
This is about strategy, isn't it?
It's about strategy. It's about activist investors as well.
Yeah, I agree the activists are pushing, but Carl, the new strategy used to be 5 years, and I would suggest now it's 5 minutes. Or
yeah, it's about 5 minutes.
The
I think part of the story here is strategy, but also currency strategy, because you saw these dramatic moves in the currency heading into the end of last year, and the expectation was that the dollar was going through parity and whatnot, and all of the strong dollar talk relative to the euro. So there was lots of horse trading among sectors of companies.
Lachlan Ajathan at Economic Cycle Research Institute. Part of this is about cheap money. What does your cycle research say about low real rates and interest rates that are just impossibly wonderful?
Well, you get low inflation when you have this long-term decline in growth, which I assert and argue, and it's in the numbers that you've seen it. Yeah. Okay. Now, when you have that interest, that's capping your inflation. Actually, you're stuck in lowflation, which is capping your longer-term yields. And with the Fed or the central banks being the game in town to try to jumpstart things, what they can really do is pull demand a little bit forward from a few quarters ahead by some easy money or some lower rates. But that doesn't fix the fundamental problem of a demographic issue and a lack of productivity growth issue. There's a long-term decline in productivity, the trend growth of productivity, interrupted by the 90s tech boom at the end of the 90s, and now we're back down. And when you look at your app, you get your app, and it's got a cool app. It's not making the American workforce more productive each hour. That's not happening, and that is a fundamental problem. And so I think when you look at what the Fed says, when you look at what Yellen says, she says, look, I hope it goes back. But there's no fundamental reason.
How do you respond to that, Carl? How do you respond to this strange word, hope? In all my reading, folks, I circle a few words. I circle the word paradigm. All my radar goes up when someone starts telling me paradigm. And I always circle the word hope in economic reads. Hope's a dangerous word, isn't it?
Well, hope is a dangerous word, but in the business of economics, we have to make forecasts. So hope and forecasting.
What does Janet Yellen hope for right now?
Janet Yellen is hoping and also forecasting that we have a larger cyclical component to these swings in the labor market, and so labor force dynamics impact the long-term productivity trend. And the reason we're seeing low productivity is because businesses aren't investing in the capital infrastructure that will boost productivity in the long term. When labor costs rise, they'll do that. Productivity will rebound.
There it is.